Good guys, my name is Lord Tomo. Welcome again to another Sonic the Hedgehog toy item collector review. As you know, I'm Lord Tomo with the Blues Tier Good Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, I actually had a different review at the time to upload, but I figured I might as well review this now since this did just come in today, and I actually love this so much in every conceivable way. But yeah, let's get into the actual review itself. Put this guy aside for now. Now, I'm going to talk briefly about the packaging itself. I guess that's a concern that people tend to have, being that you're dealing with, you know, statues of that nature. I will show you this is a sturdy box, and they did go out of the way to make this as safe as possible for your statue itself. Now, the box itself is a hard cardboard. My one is 36 out of 450, I think it was 400 or something, 450 or 400, and it's hard. Each corner has this even thicker cardboard piece to add more durability and strength, which is superb. And you also get this little, I don't know, lime wire thing just to hold it all together so it doesn't basically move around that much, which I think is awesome. It's sturdy just around the box. I know I'm not going to talk too much about the packaging in this sense, but just rest assured this is a hardened box which will initially protect your box or statue. Now, when you open it up, I'm not going to show you because obviously that's pointless, but at every single corner, all 8 corners, so the 4 at the bottom and 4 at the top, you get this styrofoam which basically lifts this about an inch and a half from all the corners, so that if this receives any impact while on transit, as you probably know, it will take the cushioning of this as well, so you get styrofoam in each corner. I know it sounds pretty mundane that I even bring this up, but I think this reinforces the care and the dedication that these guys, First4figures, actually are doing just to look after their figurines and their statues in this situation. So this is superb. So other than that, once you take it out, it'll be in a plastic sleeve. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but you get it in a plastic sleeve. The reason I say that, because the actual box itself, which as you can probably already tell, is massive. Now, this is the what's the word for it? It's a diorama essentially. It's basically just sort of a figurine. It's kind of like a combination of both an actual stage and the characters in it posed in various different things. In this situation, you get them in the City Escape stage. For those who haven't played Sonic Adventure, that's the first Sonic the Hedgehog stage that you play, and for those who played Sonic Generation, which is up there, I'll show you there myself. Sonic Generation, yeah, so there's that. So the box itself is, if you're a collector or even if you're not, you can appreciate the effort that they've gone out of the box. They could have just had a you know, standard vanilla box and that was that, but they actually went out of their way to make this even superb. Already you can see the classicness that is the Sonic Adventure initial stage, which has the stars for those who haven't played, which kind of reminisced on the whole, you know, the stage when it first happens. Of course, you have Sonic Generation, which is awesome. It highlights obviously, well, the game really, and you have the exclusive edition. I will explain the differences between the exclusive edition and normal edition, but yeah, you know, so overall you have just it kind of gives you the vibe that it's a stage and it's kind of like popping out to you. You can definitely see that in this side of the actual packaging, where it looks like the actual whole thing is just coming out, which is awesome. Yeah, First4figures logo at the bottom is absolutely nothing. It carries through the actual color itself, which I think is superb that they even done that. On the other side, you just see the same diorama, but in a different, more centralized, zoomed in angle. Awesome, superb. Of course, you don't get actual physical sparks like that, but they're more or less bringing forth through other means and all that sort of stuff. And I got 36 out of, I'm pretty sure it's 450. Pretty sure. Oh yeah, I'm right. Here we go. Highly limited to 450 pieces worldwide. So this is, I guess you could argue, this is pretty much the creme of the creme. If you're a collector, there's like levels, obviously, I would imagine, and then you got the ones who have money to burn, which, yeah, that's probably me. You have obviously just a little blur. Over the years, Sonic the Hedgehog has seen himself in a plethora of sensational adventures and breathtaking locales. And you have just talking about the City Escape and all that sort of stuff. And the actual artist is this individual here, which I'm not even going to pronounce because I'm going to probably not do him justice. I'll pronounce it. It's Kuram Alvi. I think that's it is. I could be wrong. I apologize if I got your name wrong. You have more pictures of the actual figurine itself, and actually at the top you have, of course, the legendary Sonic Generation logo. awesome. This box overall is superb. If you're like me, I'm going to definitely keep this box, have it in storage, but it's definitely a beautiful box in its entirety. So that's that. Now we're going to go to the next bit. I know this is going to, it comes in an actual, you know, cellophane sort of casing. You can obviously see on this half, that's where the statue is, so I'm going to show you that definitely. But in the cellophane you do get yourself like what's referred to as an authentication card, and I'll see if I can just zoom it in. I'll cover up some numbers there, but it's a picture of essentially say Sonic Generation, and it's got a picture of the actual diorama as well. Essentially you go to the Sonic, what am I saying? You go to the First4figures website. I will link you guys down there as well, and you will basically can authenticate it. So they do release more Sonic statues and all that sort of stuff. You can have the lowest numbers or the same numbers consecutive. Me, I tend to get the lowest numbers and all that sort of stuff, but nonetheless it's a nice little collectible piece. That's that. Here we go. This is the creme of the creme. Superb in, where do I start? First off, I'm going to put this aside and just take out the biggest piece, which is essentially what makes this exclusive. So I'm going to zoom in here, or bring it in as close as possible. There we go. Essentially this is the thing that makes it exclusive. Now the non-exclusive, everything is the same from the exclusive to non-exclusive. The only difference is these parts. These parts require batteries, not individuals. I'll show you underneath it, but they require 3 batteries, and there's a button at the back. And basically, common to the exclusives that First4figures tend to do, they basically vibrate in terms of coloration. I'll show you definitely that, but at the very bottom, you can already see it raving already. So I'm just going to press this button. Okay. I already killed the gimmick. At the very bottom you just have, of course, what it is, Sonic exclusive. My one's 36, and at the bottom is just 3 batteries that I had to pull. And of course you have Sonic Generation and all the obligatory information. Now this thing is probably the heaviest out of everything else that's part of it, but this is the main I guess part that makes it exclusive. Now I'm going to bring this in as close as possible just to show you the amount of details these guys have gone out of their way. Now you can see all the finer details of the granites, which basically is placed throughout the whole base itself, and you have kind of this in bold effect just on this side, which is awesome. You even go to the finer details, which is of the ramp itself, and you can actually envision the ramp, and to the most part, like the spoonish effects from either sides kind of popping up. This doesn't move at all. It is a solid piece, but just the general jits on how it more or less looks. Now the coloring itself is flawless. I have yet to actually see, from this anyway, any discoloration in terms of things that won't necessarily work with it. Of course you have more jaggedy, I wouldn't say jaggedy lines, but more lines emphasizing that's a spring effect that pops up, and you have of course the base, and of course you have more granite, and you have, you know, just the general feel. Now if you're like me, I kind of figured initially this was just going to be just like a plain color and one kind of, you know, smooth texturing, but if you put your fingers over it, you can actually feel the kind of the granite effect that they went for, and I think that's absolutely awesome. That to me is a small but awesome feature that they've added. Now if you go to the back, it just carries through. You can, if you want to pause it, you can see all the different colors and all the different, I wouldn't say colors, sorry, all the different shapes of granites and rocks and all that, which is awesome nonetheless. Carries through, awesome. And at the very top, of course, you see the ramp itself and the markings that's going forward, emphasizing speed, of course. On the other side, it's exactly the same. Now to play, as you can probably see, those are all the greater features of it. Now if you look closely, this has of course like little like wheels of sorts. Now this will play part to the actual statue itself when I put it all together, but yeah, that's superb and more marking. So this is essentially what makes it exclusive. Now that's awesome nonetheless. There we go. Now it really comes down to the individual how they want to do it, but I tend to put the most delicate piece last to the most sturdy pieces first. I like to think the most delicate piece is probably the original Sonic the Hedgehog, which is going to go up there, and of course the biggest one, which is the most sturdiest one, is Sonic the Hedgehog. So let's do that. Now I'm going to take this out as carefully as humanly possible. Now before I put it in, I'm just going to showcase the actual finer details once again. This statue, I've yet to see any issues with it whatsoever. He's got a pointy tail, the texturing of this is absolutely superb, and I'm going to bring this up shortly, but just his overall face, it looks like the wind's, you know, hitting his face. And of course you have his, you know, trademark smirk that he's having fun. I haven't put his hand in yet, so that's not, you know, that's normal. He does come without hands, but yeah. And of course you do have the board itself, and you have obviously the star effect, which is hominous to that. Now one thing they did do, which I think is absolutely awesome, is at the bottom of the board it just has the word Sonic, which, you know, you can't go wrong with that. Now what makes this even better, I don't know if you guys notice, is when he's going fast, his actual quills tend to move. Obviously this is a statue, it's not going to move, but this gives the overall effect that it is going at an optimal speed, even throughout the back of his head. So it kind of gives a bearing sort of air effect, which I think is phenomenal. So you can definitely see the markings on that side. I know the lighting isn't the best, but you can see the marking, how it looks like the air is traversing over his quills and he's basically going at optimal speed, which I think is awesome. And the coloring he plays throughout the whole thing. So there's that. Now it really comes down to how you put it in, but I tend to freak out every single time I do this. I don't know why I do it. Okay, so that's the first half, and already you can see how it basically pulsates out. Now he does come with hands, of course. You don't have Sonic without hands. And let's see if we can put his hand. Now once again, each hand is really sculpted as well. Superb in every conceivable way. The finer details, they're even like slight indents that kind of give him the whole fingers effect, which is awesome. So there's that. So let's put that in. Okay, there's that hand, and then we'll put that there, we'll put that there. And of course his other hand is completely different in terms of how it looks. Once again superb. There's a lot of attention to details on the actual fingers itself. Once again phenomenal in that sense. So let's put that. If you're worried about how it fits in, each little hand has like kind of like a groove of sorts, and those fit exactly where it's supposed to fit. So if you kind of feel like it's forced, it's all about feeling the correct groove for it. So there's that. So that's that one. The second half is the smaller Sonic, which is again phenomenal. Let's bring him in. Essentially, this is absolutely adorable. So there's the smaller Sonic, or the original one, depending on the classic Sonic, let's call him that. The board is awesome. The board at the bottom is plain, which is standard, which is alright, which is based on the game. And you have of course the little, you know, pardon me, the wheels. And I could even dare say that they've even somewhat put in shades on the actual metal part of it. It's actually all polyester, I think it's made of, pretty sure. And yeah, so these are the grooves that go on the top half, and it's so superb. Just the overall, just his overall dynamics in terms of how he's riding it, even to the point they didn't even have to, but even to the point where it's like his heels are kind of popping up, which I think is great. You have his little tail, of course, which is great itself, and you have, of course, you have his quills, which kind of also gives the vibe that the air is hitting him from an angle. So if you put him there, so you can actually get the vibe that he's gaining major momentum, and his quills are basically working towards it. And of course you have his, you know, his face, which once again is great as well. Always superb. It's one of those things where the more you pick up, the more you can actually see different things. Okay, so there's that. Now as you see, I put the biggest one in first, and this is one freaks me out the most. Now what I did like about this, I know that I'm beating around the bush here, is in each bike, let's see, you have two small bikes which holds things in position, but you have one massive thick metallic spike. I'm calling this spike, the could be bronze or whatever you want to call it, which basically holds the main pivot point of the whole figurine itself, or the statue, better word. So this basically holds everything. Initially I was a bit skeptical on how this would actually fit in from a package point of view and all that sort of stuff, but it looks like it's well done. I'm going to do this on camera as best I can, if I can do that. There we go. Absolutely, I'm in love with this already. I am in love with this. So we're going to basically just swish this around, and you can always see the air dynamics of it, to the point where, I know I'm playing a lot of words, I know I'm using that a lot, kind of air dynamics, but I think that's what the overall feel and the appeal of this actual statue was giving. Besides bringing forth and kind of reliving, or kind of like bringing alive one of the stages, they really went out of the way. I don't even work for these guys, but I'm that blown away. They really go out of the way to really emphasize, you know, the general liveliness of the statue. So just go scrolling around, you can definitely see how it could work in a very animated sense, kind of the curve aspect of it. Just flip it around a bit more, and kind of how he jet propels himself out of the ramp there, and you got the hands movement as well. Superb, superb, superb. I'm going to put this down so I can spin this around properly, and just the general jets of it. So already this is superb. Like, honestly, what more words could you honestly describe this? I generally think this is Sonic Generation City Escape at its best. I cannot see this in any better way. Now, it is a little hefty in price. You are looking roughly about the $400 mark. I know it is pricey, especially for a lot of people. I could be mistaken, but I do believe these sort of figurines are more catered for, I guess, the more serious collectors of sorts. By serious, I mean those who are willing to spend their extra the dollars, which, you know, which isn't bad. From what I've heard, they're still going to stick with the modern and the classic and all that sort of stuff, which is awesome. Where it has it, they're going to do a Dr. Robotnik one, and I'm super ecstatic. If they could do a classic and modern, man, you sold me. Like, so far, every single statue that's ever been released, it sold me, and I love it. Just generally speaking, this is awesome. I just need to make room for my not my room that you have this. This is just purely for just, you know, recording and all that sort of stuff. But my main living room, this is definitely going to be up there in terms of just display. Now, it is hefty, so if you have one of those glass metallic sort of cases, I would imagine them to, I don't know, depending how much they weigh, they might not hold them. So I'm going to mess around, see what ones are out there that can be able to display this. I don't know if I'm going to put this on a rotating base or something, because honestly, as a diorama piece, whichever angle you look at, from that side, even so much as the back here, it just brings life and character. Now, of course, the actual gimmick is that. Now, I'm going to turn off the light. So there's the actual gimmick. It actually basically ignites of sorts and gives the added spike effect. Now, it's pretty hard to see, but it's hard to see with my cam. But the actual light itself, it's not doing justice, my cam. You can somewhat tell from the bottom. It just basically pulsates for a while, and then it just becomes static, as in stops, which is doing it right now. Then eventually it starts pulsating. So you can see how it starts to pulsate. Kind of gives the added spike effect. And that's essentially what makes this exclusive. The non-exclusive is there's no light gimmicks whatsoever. Now, of course, what's the rarity on this? I would imagine 1 star out of 10, because it was just literally just released. I'm going to link their website, so you guys can definitely check that out. I do recommend you guys check out their website as well, because they do make some awesome stuff. Not just Sonic, they do Metroid, Mario, they do even have a Mega Man statue and all that sort of stuff. Definitely, guys, check it out. This statue, if you're a Sonic collector, think very highly on terms of, you know, just purchasing it, because they really do put a lot of effort, and they really take a lot of feedback, positive feedback and negative feedback, on board to improve themselves so much. I've been there from the very beginning when the packaging was pretty, to be fair, wasn't the best, but now they've done so much improvements. I cannot see anything wrong with this statue at all. It is a phenomenal piece. It's in all entirety. You're looking for roughly, I think I checked because it's just debited on my card, I think it was not 800, about $400. Don't quote me, of course. Check out their website for that. And yeah, that's all I can say. Well guys, thank you so much for checking this review. Please leave a feedback, tell me what you think, tell me if it's something you're interested in, or just generally tell me what stage you would prefer they make in the future. Maybe First 4figures check out, you know, the review that I made of it, they can take a hint on it and say, hey, yeah, let's make this one. Me personally, if I could recommend a diorama, I'd love to honestly see a one between Sonic versus Dr. Eggman, kind of like one of his robots or one of his classics. That would be awesome if I could get one of those. Definitely look out for those who are into his villains. I'm loving what they're going to be doing. They've released some teasers of the new Dr. Robotnik or Dr. Eggman, depending on how you like to call him. But this as a piece by itself, if this is the only ever piece you're ever going to get, me honestly, I'll probably aim for this one. This caters for both the nostalgia, which is the retro Sonic, and then the modern Sonic, and it's by far one of the better stages. Anyway guys, I've talked enough. Leave your feedback, tell me what you think about it, and remember guys, speed on, take care, and until next time, peace.